Welcome to Shiva Sakti's YouTube channel.
Do you think memorizing is the best way to study? This question might seem a bit perplexing, considering that for decades, the conventional wisdom has been all about cramming and regurgitating information. The status quo has painted a picture where studying is virtually synonymous with memorizing, a mental exercise of storing facts and figures as if our minds were hard drives. But here's the catch. Our brains are not storage units. They're more like interconnected webs, where information is not just stored but processed, linked, and understood. That's where the issue lies with rote memorization. It's like trying to run a marathon with ankle weights. Sure, you might reach the finish line, but at what cost? It's time we debunk this misconception. Memorizing is not the be-all and end-all of studying. Education is not a race to see who can memorize the most. It's about understanding concepts and applying them. Hold that thought, and let's dive into the real essence of studying. Scene script. Studying isn't about memorizing, it's about understanding and engaging with the material. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, let's dive into it. Picture this. You're given a list of 100 unfamiliar terms to memorize by tomorrow. The chances are that by the next week, you'll only remember a handful of them, if that. This is what happens when we focus on memorization. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. No matter how much water you pour in, it just doesn't stay. But let's flip the script. Instead of memorizing those 100 terms, you're given a story that weaves all of them together. You learn about each term in context, seeing how it connects to the others, how it fits into the broader narrative. Now, not only can you remember those terms, but you also understand their meaning and relevance. That's the difference between memorizing and understanding, between shallow learning and deep learning. Understanding a concept means you've engaged with it, wrestled with it, and made it your own. It's like building a house brick by brick. Each brick is a new piece of knowledge that fits perfectly with the others, creating a strong and stable structure that can withstand the test of time. And here's the kicker. When you focus on understanding, retention follows naturally. Because you're not just storing information in your short-term memory, you're integrating it into your long-term memory. You're creating meaningful connections that make the information stick. So let's take a moment to imagine studying in this new light. Picture yourself engaging with your textbooks, not just reading them. Picture yourself wrestling with concepts, not just memorizing them. Picture yourself building knowledge, brick by brick, until you have a solid house of understanding. This is the true essence of studying. It's not about cramming information into your brain and hoping it sticks. It's about understanding, engaging, and connecting. It's about learning in a way that's meaningful, effective, and lasting. So if it's not about memorizing, then how should you study? Effective studying is more of an art than a science. An art that's mastered not by rote memorization, but by engaging with the content in ways that foster deeper understanding. Let's take a closer look at some of these strategies. First on our list is active reading. This is not your typical read and forget kind of reading. Active reading is an immersive process. It involves questioning the material, making connections to what you already know, and even predicting what might come next. Think of it as having a conversation with your textbook. Yes, it sounds a bit odd, but trust us, it works. Next up is note-taking. But wait, we're not talking about copying chunks of text word for word. Effective note-taking is about distilling the essence of what you're learning into your own words. It's about creating a map of knowledge, where every new piece of information is a landmark that's connected to others. This way, you're not just storing facts in your brain, you're building a network of ideas. Then we have summarizing. This is where you take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Once you've finished a chapter or a section, try to explain it to yourself in simple terms. If you can do that, it's a good sign that you've really understood it. Lastly, there's problem solving. This is where you apply what you've learned to real-world scenarios or hypothetical situations. It's an excellent way to test your understanding and to make your learning stick. Incorporating these strategies into your study routine promotes active engagement with the material. It turns studying from a passive activity to an active one. It encourages you to think critically, to question, and to explore. Remember, the goal here is not to memorize but to understand. To not just remember facts, but to grasp how these facts fit together to form a bigger picture. Now that we know how to study effectively, let's explore why it's so important. Why is understanding so much more important than memorizing? Now that's a question that deserves some time under the spotlight. Let's dive right in. First off, understanding is the key to long-term retention. When you understand a concept, it's like planting a seed in your mind. Over time, that seed grows into a tree of knowledge, branching out into various aspects of the concept. On the other hand, memorization is like painting a picture on the surface of your mind. It may look good for a while, but eventually the colors will fade, and the details will blur. Research supports this. A study from the University of California found that students who focused on understanding material, rather than memorizing it, performed better in subsequent classes. They were able to recall the information more effectively and apply it in different contexts. Which brings us to our second point. Understanding a concept allows you to apply it to real-world situations. When you understand the principles behind a concept, you can use it to solve problems, make decisions, and navigate through life. Memorizing facts and figures may help you pass a test, but understanding helps you pass the test of life. For instance, understanding the principles of economics can help you make informed financial decisions. Understanding the laws of physics can help you understand why your toast always seems to fall butter side down. Lastly, understanding fosters a love for learning. When you understand a concept, you appreciate its beauty and complexity. You see how it fits into the grand scheme of things. You start asking questions, exploring further, and becoming a lifelong learner. In contrast, memorizing can often feel like a chore. It's like trying to cram a square peg into a round hole. It's not enjoyable, and it doesn't encourage further exploration or curiosity. So, to wrap it up, understanding trumps memorizing in terms of long-term retention, applicability to real-world situations, and fostering a love for learning. Remember, learning is not a race, it's a journey. Understanding not only helps you in your exams, but also in real-life situations. So, what have we learned today? Well, we kicked things off by challenging the status quo, questioning the traditional methods of studying that we've all become so accustomed to. We delved into the true essence of studying and discovered that studying is not just about cramming information into our heads, but it's more about engaging with the content, understanding it, and making it a part of our knowledge base. We explored the art of effective studying, highlighting the importance of active learning. We spoke about how effective studying is not about passively reading textbooks, but it's about interacting with the material, asking questions and seeking answers. It's about making connections, drawing comparisons, and building a comprehensive understanding of the subject matter. One of the key points we emphasized was the importance of understanding versus memorizing. We've all been there, memorizing pages of information for an exam only to forget it all the next day. We've learned that this method is not only ineffective, but also counterproductive in the long run. Understanding concepts, on the other hand, provides a solid foundation for further learning. It helps us retain information for longer periods and apply it in different contexts, enhancing our problem-solving and critical thinking skills. We also discussed how writing plays a crucial role in studying. Writing isn't just for note-taking, it's a powerful tool that aids in the learning process. It helps us organize our thoughts, reinforces our understanding, and serves as a reference for future studies. So, let's take these insights and apply them to our study routines. Let's move away from rote memorization and embrace a more engaging, understanding-focused approach. Let's make studying an active process, where we're not just absorbing information, but we're also understanding it, questioning it, and making it a part of our knowledge. Remember, studying is not a task, but a journey of understanding and engaging with the material. Happy studying!